Grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ.
Amen.
It's good to be back. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for one of the books that you gave me for Christmas, which is The Concept of Beauty in Patristic and Byzantine Theology. And it was a good foundation upon which to build what I want to say to you today. We are living, if you haven't figured it out yet, we're living in a post-Christian age. Christianity is no longer the dominant idea that is shaping our life as human beings. To a great degree, we are living in a world that is characterized by utilitarianism, about how something can be useful to us. We live in a highly transactional world in which our relationships with one another are shaped not by mutual love and respect for one another, but they are shaped by self-interest. We are living in a society that is very soft on rationality. There are thousands of people that are living their lives shaped by delusions that they maintain are true and rational. We are soft on ethics. I mean, there'd be very few people left in the Congress of the United States if we really were imposing ethical standards on our representatives. We are soft on the issue of justice. We have a hard time understanding what are inalienable rights of others and what are privileges that are brought about through a person's position and standing and authority. And we are very soft on truth. Truth is not a category that is of any value to most people today. There's no absolute. It's my truth, your truth, alternative facts. We are very self-centered. We live life as self-centered beings. We want our way. Self-interest is the bottom line for most people, and it has infected our politics, our philosophy, our art, and even our religion. So why do I bring up the issue of beauty? We have a lot of ideas about beauty. One of the fundamental ideas that we work with is that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And so something that you think is beautiful may not be something that I see as beautiful. We also think that beauty is exclusively a category in the realm of aesthetics. What is pleasing to us? What is pleasing to the eye? This is beautiful. This book on beauty, the concept of beauty in the patristic and Byzantine tradition, begins with a preface by the editor of this compendium of essays, Father John Anthony Magukin, who is a priest of the Romanian Orthodox Church. He is a professor at Columbia University and Union Theological Seminary in New York. And in the preface to this book, he quotes from a book by a man named R.J. O'Connell. The name of the book is Eros and Philia in Plato's Moral Cosmos. And I want to just read this quote from that book. It is a truism to say that for the Greek mind, the good and the beautiful are at one, just as evil and the ugly are. Use these terms in their moral sense, however, and the gigantic act of belief implied in that equivalence becomes more evident. For the Greeks, for Plato, Aristotle, and the other Greek philosophers, and this has an impact on the development of Christian orthodoxy. Even on Mount Athos, there are some monasteries that have mosaics or frescoes of Plato and Aristotle on the walls of the refectory. These are important people. They shape the way we see the world, or at least they used to. I'm not so sure they do anymore. But for Plato and for the other Greek philosophers, that which was good was regarded as beautiful, and that which was bad was regarded as ugly. So there was definitely a moral dimension to the notion of what is beautiful. It is no mistake that the compendium, the 5-volume compendium of spiritual wisdom that is so important to Christian orthodoxy, the Philokalia is the name of these 5 volumes. It is a collection of spiritual writings going back to Anthony the Great up through more modern meaning Middle Ages and Renaissance period thinkers on the spiritual life. It is a great treasure of the Orthodox spiritual tradition, the Philokalia. It means the love of the beautiful. And the book is about how to have a beautiful life. How to have a relationship with God that helps us have a beautiful life. To be beautiful. And this is very definitely grounded in Plato's assertion that good is beautiful and that which is evil is ugly. When we buy that ancient insight, we are willing to do the right thing even if it is not advantageous or beneficial to our self-interest. If we really take seriously that the good is beautiful and the evil is ugly, then we will do the right thing regardless of what advantage it gives us or lack of advantage that it gives us. we seriously, as a culture, as a group of people trying to work out our lives in a reasonable way, we desperately need to reconnect the notion of virtue and beauty. And this is one of the great things that Orthodox Christianity could offer to the society. And that we do offer it just in the fact of our very structural existence on corners and byways and highways of our nation. That which is good is beautiful, and that which is evil is ugly. This morning's little passage from Romans that was read for our epistle today says some very, very interesting things about how to live life. And they are very counterintuitive, and they are not the way that most people see life. Don't be wise in your own conceits. Don't think you know everything. Don't think your perspective is the only one. Don't render evil for evil. That's how we've gotten into the craziness of our political world today, is that we're rendering evil for evil. It's tit for tat. And in the end, the country's tanking, and we can't do anything about it. And we feel hopeless and scared as a people. If it be possible, as much as it is in you, if you have it in you at all, if you have a little tiny shred of the possibility, be at peace with all people. My lifetime as a human being living in America has been a lifetime of one conflict after another, international conflict after another. War, war, war. That's all. My whole life has been war. We've been at war, you know? We need to read The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Great people cannot survive on war. So try to make peace. Try to be at peace with people. Don't engage in revenge. God will take care of it. Let him take care of it. He has the right. He is the supreme judge of what is good and evil. We don't have to take it in our own hands to take revenge on people who have slighted us. How about feeding our enemies? How about mounting an international effort to send assistance and aid to the people of Afghanistan? How about doing that? Instead of allowing hundreds of thousands of people to die of hunger. If a person thirsts, give him water. The opposite of that is many people, you've heard the thing, I wouldn't give them the sweat off my brow. No, give a cup of water to a person who is an enemy. Overcome evil by doing good instead of one-upmanship. You be evil to me, by God, I'll really do it to you. Now, if we really put this into practice, if we really took this little paragraph and implemented it in the way we live with others, we would be connecting virtue with beauty, and our lives would look beautiful. We would be absolute living sermons to those around us. We would look different than our next door neighbor. We would be different, and we would make a difference. During the rise of modern psychoanalysis, started with Freud, and then Carl Jung, and then Adler. Carl Jung was the most religious of all the psychoanalysts. He was really into symbols and the unconscious and myths, and a very, very interesting person. He was giving a lecture one day to a group of people, and he was encouraging them to discover in their lives their creativity and to implement it, to actualize their creativity. And we know what that feels like when we're able to do that, when we have a skill and we're able to implement it into something and we can see the handiwork that we have done. It's a moment of personal satisfaction, and it feels good to make a dish that's delicious, like the pear crisp that we're going to have today for coffee hour that Linda brought, or a piece of art, or a garden, or something to be he was encouraging people to be creative, to get down into the depths of who they are and to bring forth something wonderful. And a person raised their hand and said, I have no creativity whatsoever. I have none. I don't have any skills in that area, and I don't know what to do about this. And he looked at that person and he said, if you have nothing that you can create, then create yourself. Make yourself the work of art that you are called to make. Make yourself the portrait of beauty. Make yourself the beautiful garden. That's the job for all of us as Christians. We are called to conform our lives to the life of the one that we believe is the most beautiful life that has ever lived, the life of Jesus of Nazareth. We are called to imitate that life. He says, follow me. Follow me. Follow his footsteps. Follow his words. Follow the way he lived. Follow the way he acted. Create ourselves in his image. That's the task of being a Christian. And we have a beautiful blueprint of this morning in the reading from Romans. We have a step-by-step picture of how we could become more Christ-like and how our lives could become the image of the beautiful. We have just one life to live, and how wonderful it would be when the when the last shovel of dirt is thrown on our casket and the people leave from the cemetery and go back to the mercy meal or whatever, how wonderful it would be that for each of us, if people could say, that was a beautiful person. If they were able to say that about us, it would mean that we had seriously worked at trying to be human beings that are in the likeness of God. That we had been successful in uniting virtue with beauty. And we had been successful in being imitators of that beautiful one that we worship. May God help us to seriously lay to heart how important it is for us to create ourselves and to be a living image of the one who created us out of love. Amen.
Amen.
I believe in one
God,
God,
the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth,